Let's do it.
All right. Well, hello everyone. My name is Caleb Nelson. I am a high school football coach outside the DC area, and I am part of the Master Coaching Education degree. So yeah, that's me.
This is Tanner Sneed. I'm the offensive coordinator, football coach in California, and I also do 8th grade baseball.
Jason, you're on mute.
Sorry about that.
You're fine.
It kicked me off.
If you don't mind introducing yourself, Jason.
You got it. Jason Papadaka. Work at Pima Community College in Tucson, Arizona. And here for the podcast.
Awesome, gentlemen. Thank you for that. So moving forward to the next point, what was the book about? So what I took out of it is that book was about coaches being able to coach and develop the players for the games using drills that were more game-like versus technique, that just focused on the technique versus utilizing that technique for a game situation, or just doing a drill for the fun of it.
Yeah, exactly. I took out of it that if you're making drills that are going to be not necessarily focusing on as a quarterback, not throwing offense, but creating drills that are just in the game so they can react and learn through guidance discovery as opposed to direct instruction, predetermined.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, buddy. I got out of it having a different approach than the traditional approach, and learning different ways to be effective in coaching or being a student or teacher in the classroom.
All right. Moving forward to the next point, what are the key issues the book deals with? I would say, creating the best environment to present game-sense situations, like designing something an environment that caters to that specific sport, being able to create dialogue with the players, what they see, what they don't see, what they understand, what they don't understand, provide opportunities for ideas or solutions to be tested, and just to develop an environment for them to create a bond with the other players. Those sport bonds are memorable ones that we take with us.
Yeah, and going off of what you just said, I think that creating a fun, athlete-centered environment, if kids are having fun, then it's going to be for everyone. Also create the game-like aspect of it, and just give little games to play, make it a competition instead of everything being so monotonous drills over and over again. Giving them some different situations they can handle, and then creating a better knowledge for the game.
I agree. Making the environment more fun. Having some different options. Sorry, the mic just keeps. Is anyone having trouble?
Yeah.
Is there any way to fix that? I can hear myself talk. Sorry about that.
I think you're in on two lines. I see. Yeah.
It's one of those.
There you go.
Is that better now?
Yeah. You still with us? Yep.
Yeah, I'm still.
Awesome.
Okay, so let me just finish that part. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, just making things more fun, and just having some different options. Different way of looking at coaching is good for all coaches.
All right. With the book, what are some things you agree with and why? I agree with creating a modified variation of the game and creating a drill out of it. It's probably one of the most difficult and important things for your team. And the reason why I agree with that is because you have a lot of kids that don't have those natural born talents and don't naturally understand the game. So what that'll help raise their IQ in that sport. And if you don't, it just makes it that much tougher for them to really learn and enjoy the game throughout the season.
Exactly right. I think that what the game taught us is just new things that we haven't done before, or making us better as coaches. The content, just giving us not being content with the same thing over and over again. Having a different option and giving us different ideas to make our coaching better.
Yeah, good points, Tim. Yeah, just having a variety, getting better. And Caleb was a really good example of having different players with different IQs, and then being able to adjust as a coach to make it more effective from all your players, top to bottom.
Yeah, it's good. All right, so the next point is, what do you not agree with and why? One thing I read in the book was, that over time learners should adapt to game sense approach and take on a responsibility for their own learning while developing their knowledge. I don't agree with that for students who are just doing the sport for extracurricular throughout high school. Because I personally feel like, they just need to embrace the best moments that they learn in practice and in the games, just because it's an extracurricular to keep them in shape, and it's just there more for the social aspect of it. Now, however, if you do want to talk about the college aspect or the professional aspect, then I would agree with that. But for the most part, dealing with high school or grade school kids, I don't feel like they need to take on a responsibility to embrace it to where they need to work on it outside of the classroom time.
Right, and to even go off of that, the things I didn't like about the book was it's totally focused on gameplay, as opposed to, I think you have to have some type of individual work. I think there is some skill development you can do, where it's a one-person drill, you don't have to have small teams. And then the other thing I didn't like about the book, or I guess the changes, I would have liked to see more drills in the second part of it, as opposed to just the ones they had in there. I'd like to see more traditional games, as opposed to the non-traditional.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. More drills on the back part of the book. The book would have been helpful. And I thought the biggest thing for me is coaching college. Some of the game sense approaches would be very difficult at that level. Just based on being a coach and having a way to keep your job. But overall, those two things.
Okay, good, gentlemen. Moving forward, what were some things the author didn't cover that might have been useful? For me, I would say, what to go through when creating game sense material. I know I heard one time, can't remember which coach this was, but I know it was a basketball coach. I heard that he created his drills using a salt and pepper shaker at his kitchen table, and that helped him create a successful program. So what I would have liked to see, like, hey, this is something you need from the creative standpoint that'll help your game sense material, or this is something you need to focus, like you want to make sure you pull these basic rules from your sport, or something like, just to really help follow these instructions, and it will really help guide you to creating a good game sense material. Even though every sport is different, but it's something that could be utilized for every sport. I think that could have been more useful, just because you have to adjust depending on the personnel you have year after year.
Right. I think also what he did miss out is talking about it's very one-sided. It's not a good way. I felt that maybe it could have explored more of the individual drills. I think there's going to be more individual drills and gameplay. So I think that was the one side. I think he missed out.
Yeah, great point, Tanner. Individual workouts, drills, obviously playing at the college level, even the high school level. Guys that are really talented and good work on individual skills a lot. So maybe to implement both sides.
Good. So how does this book link to the other research we have been reading in our master's degree? I would say the research in one of our classes that talked about gamesmanship and sportsmanship. Gamesmanship is basically the unwritten rules of a sport. And why, so how can we create a drill, that's centers around the game that we can learn those unwritten rules, and help our players learn those unwritten rules, because it helps make them better players overall. So that's something that I see this book linking to other classes and material that we've gone through this degree.
Right. Talking about the ethics and diversity class, we read the fair and foul. We read talks about gamesmanship and sportsmanship. I think that book would really open our eyes a bit to how sport really is, and then you bring in this aspect of game sense, and it talks about bringing fun back into the game. College coaches, they're battling for the love of their career. Every game they get fired at the end of it. So it's hard to make practice fun. But I think if you bring back this game approach, and you can try to make this fun environment that's athlete-centered, and create good situations for your team.
Yeah, great point, Tanner. And Caleb. Yeah, the fair and foul connecting to these classes, I think those are really good example of everything it hits on. Both I agree with both of you told them.
Awesome. What other readings and resources could other coaches go to based on this reading? Well, we nailed it on the head with the last question, fair and foul. It's like you said, Jason, open our eyes. it's sports. Sports is unfair, but it's fair at the same time that it's unfair. But that's how life is at the same time. you know, and it's fun. It really helps bring gamesmanship. Really helps bring the fun, challenging aspect of what can I get away with, but still be within the rules of, or how do I need to support my teammate? He threw a ball at the batter, so I'm the pitcher. When I go up, I got to do the same thing to one of their batters. I mean, it just really helps. I really think that's something coaches can go to and to really develop, a better game sense. Of some things, some material they also have to center around what rules that aren't written in the rule book do we really have to focus our players on. So that is one reading and resource other coaches can go to based on this reading.
Yeah, great points. As I've gone through the 3 courses we've had in the reading books, I've been sharing with our assistant coach. And our assistant coaches have really kind of tried to really look at the drills they're doing. So just trying to pass on the information that I'm learning, and so they can apply and make our team better. Instead of getting monotonous drills and the boring day-to-day where you kind of do the same thing, getting a groove or doing the same stuff over and over again. I think it's really going to impress the light into it. And it's just going to make everyone better and more fun for the teams.
Yeah, good point, both of you guys. Yeah, variety, options. And you've done something for a long time, coaching to make changes and be more effective through obviously different reading, different classes, all the kind of connects for us.
Good. So, what implications from this reading for changes can we make for our own coaching? Or, in other words, what key takeaways are there for our own coaching? One thing I saw or I read was that the coaching needs to have ideas in mind on paper for making game sense more easier and challenging. And on top of that, in part 2 of the book, it not only had the drills, but had some modifications to make it more challenging or modifications to make it more easier. And I think that's something that I would definitely take away, because when I create drills for the football players during camp and whatnot, I think about the drill, but I don't always thinking through what if they don't get it, or what if they go through this way too fast? What are some things I can do next time, or I'm able to prolong it and everything, just to help build their IQ and to make them better athletes, So that's one thing I'll definitely implement. It's the modification of the drills and everything when I prepare for my students.
Right, and every single coach is going to look at what drills do and how can they make it better. And I think what has really made me think about is what can I add to the drills that we have that can add an extra component to it, either make it more difficult, but make it more game situation. Where it focuses on making the athlete learn something through experience, as opposed to having an outcome. I talked about the quarterback in a void drill where he has to avoid pressure. Instead of having someone already predetermined where to go and have a code for those expected around, having a random, and the quarterback has to make back to avoid that guy that's downfield and make it. So that right there is a more game situational drill that they benefit from.
Yeah, good point. I was just thinking, having open more communication with my players after looking at the game sense approach, and then obviously improving game situation stuff. The more we read and the more options you have, I think it makes us all better coaches.
All right. So that's we touched on all the major things, gentlemen. So now we just need to provide a summary of the key learnings from the book and everything that we talked over the podcast. So I'll start off. Key things is creating something that's at the level of the IQ for your players to really help develop them to be better players and to really help the team. Also, be more mindful of how you can modify things for the drills so they can continue to gain skill faster, or if they need to get it slower, they just need to get it done right so they can just make themselves better over time. And so, yeah, just gotta make adjustments and make practice similar to the game, so they can when they like Tanner mentioned, when they see it in the game, it's not the first time they've seen it. And so it's just like the body's just more of a reactive moment to what they're doing because they already reacted to it in practice. So that's something that I grasped from this podcast as well as the book.
Right, good job, Caleb. Yeah, I think it's building off what Caleb just said, making it fun, bringing back the fun factor. Let the kids enjoy themselves while learning the game at the same time. I think I talked about earlier, I'd rather be 0-10 with a great team that works hard and have some fun while we're doing it than be 10-0 with a bunch of kids that are just not fun to be around. They'll work hard and not playing the game the right way. I'd rather be 0-10 and enjoy myself than be 10-0 and be miserable.
Yeah, great point from both of you. Yeah, I took away from the book, having an open mind to make some changes and suggestions to be better coached, and learning from what you've done, and then make sure that you're preparing your players the best way possible. And also, like Tanner said and Caleb said, is also trying to make it fun because it's still a sport that we all love and the kids love as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for participating in this podcast. Really enjoy reaching out to you guys as well as reaching out back so we can all do well on this. This completes the podcast. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys later this week.
All right, man. Thank you so much, guys.
See you guys on Wednesday.